Are cryptids connecting humans to hidden realities, or are you going to find more questions than answers? Welcome to the ZoliArt Montana podcast. My name is Linda, here with Zoli Althea Brown. Zoli, how can we share the world with supernatural beings in a less fearful way?
You know, I love this subject because I think there's a paradigm shift coming. And I want to be very careful and cautious in how I approach this. For me to say that I am in touch with, not channeling, but getting information from a dog man, people call him the dog man, that is 7 to 9 feet tall, solid black, sounds psychotic. I can't prove it. I can't prove it. Well, she's psychic medium, she does this or that. I cannot prove that. But I can only pass on in good faith some of the things that he has told me. Now, this is what he has said. And I don't think that this particular being is on earth. I think this is a telepathic communication because they do come in and out of portals. There are some that do, as with what you call Bigfoot. But just as there are many different levels of humanity and our evolution, how we would interact with these beings is quite varied. What he has said to me, and this is the most loving, kind being, he said, don't chase after us or the Bigfoot or the cryptids. It's clear we're real. It's very clear. If you want physical proof, there is physical proof. But what we are asking you to do is to understand that we, like people, have souls, like the cetaceans. These are ensouled beings. And he says we have been here for the millennia. For the millennia. For example, the Anubis, I think it's Anubis, what was the dog-headed god in Egypt? I forget. And that religion came out of Atlantis. They've been here for hundreds and thousands of years. Why are they here if they're not from here, so to speak? Because they were called into service to this earth. They were called into service to guard the forests, to act in their own way as the other beings do in an ordered, organized, helpful way. They don't need to communicate with us. What we are trying to get from them is the mystery. The mystery is solved. Same with what you call UFOs, Bigfoot, the so-called dogmen. Some of the other beings are from somewhere else. Now, I don't have a lot of answers. And what he has told me, he said, we have very specific society. We have rules. We have laws. We have families that we love. And you don't see the females because we protect them. You don't see the children. We protect them. Now, are these human? Are they animal? They are what you call an alien race that has been here for hundreds and thousands of years. So what's the big deal? Why, when we see these videos, are people always screaming and running and afraid and terrified? That is the nature of what humans do when they don't understand something. What he says is be calm. The paradigm shift is to accept that so-called UFOs and these beings are here. You don't need the proof. Once you accept that and realize that they live separately from us, there's not going to be a big gathering of everybody where all the humans and all the cryptids get together. I'll give you an example. I spoke of this on the radio show. We live in the mountains in Missoula, above Missoula, and down the gulch, we have some game cameras for many reasons. And that's like 100 yards from the house down in this gulch area. So the other day on the game camera, we see the neighbor's cat, and this is a long gulch. We see the fox, see some of the neighborhood dogs, and then we see cougars. There's a male cougar. You can tell it's a male because he has a black on the tip of his tail. There's a female cougar, and later there's a juvenile cougar. You don't see mountain lions. They see you, but they want nothing to do with you. It's similar with the so-called dogmen or Bigfoot, but they have an intelligence that exceeds animals. And that's what makes them fascinating. Plus, they're upright. They're upright. They have souls. If you kill an ensouled being, that's the cetaceans, the whales, the dolphins. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't know. I'm a research analyst in the field of psionics. So I present what I got and questions and leave it open for you to do your own research. I think there is what he is talking about, the paradigm shift is not just with cryptids, it's also with the unseen. Are the veils thinner? Are all the solar flares, the electromagnetic activities that are happening affecting things? Sure. I don't know how, not a physicist, not that smart. But we have spoken that we feel different. People are feeling this change. And these beings are very loving. Now, are there bad Bigfoot, bad dogmen? You bet there are. There are bad people. There are bad dogs. There's bad cats. There's bad stuff out there that is taken a route or is sick or mentally ill, whatever you want to call that. It's part of life. But what you can expect is that these beings, what will be found, I believe, is that the cryptids that were called here to do good, they will always be separate from us. Now, that said, there are many stories in native communities all over the world. They used to trade with these beings, especially with Bigfoot. That's not weird, but they're not chasing after them either. They accept that. Now, these cryptids are not like the Slender Man, the White Fang in Alabama, that are some sort of, I think, interdimensional, very destructive beings. I don't know what they are. It makes me nervous to even do research on them. I've got a small project going and I don't like dealing with it because they're quite predatory and I think they're very dangerous. So when I asked, and I've said this before, and I think it's absolutely hysterical. When I asked this dog man, well, then why do you chase people? And he said, because it's fun. You run. You don't see cases of someone standing in the woods, all of a sudden the dog man or the Bigfoot's running after him, especially the dog man. You run, they chase. It's fun. There are rules to them coming into your home. You're not allowed, they also have to go on the law of this planet for humans of free will. They are part of our world, but they are visitors here. Now, the portals. There are films that I have seen that are real of Bigfoot talking to another one, turns around, a portal appears, he walks into it. What the hell? I've seen it, and it's real. Why is that not known? It's natural. They are connected to what you call the UFOs. The consciousness shift that has to occur in humanity is love and compassion, to let go of the terror and the fear. These films I see, we're out here hunting dogman or Bigfoot. Oh my God, we saw one, run away. What the hell's the matter with you? Stop. Just stop. if you stopped long enough and if you were peaceful, they might talk to you. And it's probably one of the so-called good ones. So the shift that has to happen, the paradigm shift, is within humanity itself.
Have humans always known about cryptids, and have we always been scared of them?
Humans are scared of everything. It's ridiculous. And the farther we get away from, and I've done it too, the farther we get away from the earth and the wisdom of the earth, the more fear there is, because you cannot communicate. We separate ourselves from that. But there's always been so-called cryptids here. Most human beings are star seeds. Most people, their soul did not pop out of the monad right here. Most people have spent a lot of time out there or some time. So these other beings, how many planets are out there? Billion. We can't count that. Why is it strange that these beings are here? That is the shift that has to happen. Quit chasing. And the feeling he gave me was one of calm. We are here, and a lot of it's none of your business. Oh, well, that's interesting. There are facts here that you don't need to know. And that when we begin to calm ourselves and to be more loving and accepting, nature herself will open up the doors to what reality is. And these beings are closer to that in ways than we are.
That's so comforting to think about. And it seems like humans are so revolved around everything being about us. So we can't imagine that we'd be sharing a planet with other beings and we wouldn't somehow be involved in what they're doing.
We're not that evolved. And the folks, I'm going to get in trouble on New Age friends. I'm not talking to y'all. But people that run around saying that they're such old souls and they're so this and that. No, you're not. Just be a people. You don't have to be better than anybody. And you really have no idea if you're an old soul or not. I haven't been here that long. I'm not an old soul. My soul originated on Vega. And that's way the hell out there. And I've been here maybe, I don't know, less than 100,000 years. If you came here or if you were from here and you were in Atlantis or Lemuria, you're talking a lot of those 100,000 years. But I do have some memories of some of my past lives that I think are accurate. And I'll tell you that I don't know if it's true or not, but I have a memory of the so-called dogmen in war fighting along certain people in Greece and in Rome. And they were huge. They were enormous. The cryptids, the giants were not cryptids. These were races of people who also had souls who were from somewhere else. A lot of biblical stuff about it. Who knows what's true? They had red hair and they were carnivorous. Quite a few of the native tribes speak of them, and they got rid of them. There are ways to get rid of them. So, who you call dogmen and Bigfoot, they monitor the forests and the woods. And what they do, they've said, it's none of your business. Well, so much for that. So what do we do? But he told me, do not chase after us emotionally, because this is none of your concern. None of you are evolved enough. Maybe a few are. But he was saying this earth has to go through some shifts from the human perspective before we are on their level of understanding. And probably them on our level too. They are evolving. They have ancestors, they have rituals, they channel higher beings, whatever, but their methods are different. And right now, it's none of our business to know because all we're doing is chasing and pointing guns or pointing fingers.
Instead of trying to uncover all the mysteries of the world, we really need to focus within, like we always talk about, and try to figure out what we're here to do.
That's very true. And what I would just suggest to these wonderful people who are cryptid researchers is look in the mirror and find out more about yourself. Who are you? Get quiet inside and simplify yourself and your life, and you might be surprised of what comes to you.
It's true because we're often surprised at where life takes us. It's more than often than not what we planned, but it can be quite delightful.
It can be delightful. And I get off track a lot. Why? Because I'm a people. I'm no guru. I'm not out there doing magnificent things. I'm trying to pull my life in so I can be more honest and authentic with you guys, with myself, with my family. And I still say I'm a Montana housewife. This is what I do during the day. I don't have an exciting life, but this world inside, that's exciting because we connect to realms that we know nothing about. And the more we pull within, we introversion ourselves. We become more introverted and allow those messages and those signatures and those frequencies to come to us rather than demanding and forcing and fighting. That is grace. And I think that is the paradigm shift that is occurring.
Yeah, it really gets a sense of that calm that you were speaking of. I wonder if there's some supernatural beings that are more connected with humans than others.
Oh, of course, there are. And even within the Dogman and the Bigfoot community, there are some that are actually interested in what we're doing, but they are also guarded and guided by their higher power or the guidance. They also have what you call the councils. They have all of that. I'm not in touch with those people. I don't know who they are. But the ones that are in charge of the devas with these huge, the size of the planet, and then the tiny little ones, anywhere from those up above, and the involutionary arc, you have to be very careful with because they are connected to the material world and they evolve from being born in materiality to search God that way. So we come from God, we evolve and we come down to earth, but we seek him in that way. If that makes sense. Kind of doesn't make sense. I think you get what I'm saying. So the David beings, the supernatural beings, they have their own plan and they are guided and guarded. And once again, a lot of that's none of our business. We couldn't understand it. We couldn't. There are many, many, many different levels. And I think each of us can access those levels as we evolve and grow. You don't have to do special this and special that and try to do all the drugs and the whatever and become more powerful. A lot of those abilities will naturally unfold within you once you have done the work to allow your body and your nervous system to be able to access those frequencies. Otherwise, you go batshit crazy, and it happens. You might spontaneously combust. I don't know, driving into town, all of a sudden, boom, I have no idea. But we have to be careful and cautious, and some humility needs to be expressed with what is my next step? What can I do? What is my next step? And there are many, many beings that you can learn from as they learn from us.
There's a lot of wisdom in that, allowing it to happen rather than pushing or seeking things that you're not quite ready for.
There's a real danger in our ego. And ego, you need your ego. It gets you up in the morning. The problem with it is it's totally connected to the mind, body, and spirit and the physical, all this stuff about the personality. That's a hyphenated phrase. The personality, your sun sign, your person, who you are. And it wants to be first. And the more you get connected, this is important. The more you get connected to stuff, to the material world, the more you are connected to ego. And look at some of these people that you see on that are famous or want to be famous. Their whole life is give me attention. I demand it. Give me money. Give me this. Give me that. They have no idea who they are. They think they know what they are, but it will not end good for those people. It will not. Why they're here, I don't know. But people on a so-called spiritual path, you will find the appropriateness that the physical world is here to serve us. We are not to serve it. And that's the big difference.
That is a big difference and something that can be learned, but it's also in the world we're in. We're surrounded by materiality, and it's kind of a status symbol. So to overcome that, even when we're seeking the spiritual, we can find ourselves in the material.
It's a challenge, isn't it? Once again, good and evil are poured into the same cup, and we drink it unaware. Everything's happening at once. You're having a good day, the bad day is right around the corner. I joke and say, behind every black cloud, there's a silver lining, and behind the silver lining, there's a bigger, darker, blacker cloud, because you'll be able to handle that. So it's all happening at once. And the idea about detachment, when I do it, my life goes better. Detachment says, I recognize the use of this material world. You can have a house filled with thousands of things and not be attached to it. You really can. Or you can have absolutely nothing and be so attached to the material world that you're greedy, avaricious, jealous. It's not the stuff. It's the stuff inside of us. What are we made of? And it's hard. It's part of life on earth. But as we evolve as spiritual beings and we learn to see the material world as service to us, not us serving it, that's the shift. And that's the peace of mind.
Oh, that's a shift I want to make in myself, and I want to see our world do better at it too, because if we see that good and evil is poured into the same cup, we might get caught up in it and not feel like there's anything we can do about it. But if it's just a slow shift, then that brings hope.
The hope is what's important, because there's times that I get caught up in it because I'm a people. I'm just a people. As I say, I'm not a guru, a psychologist, a teacher. I'm not that. I'm just me dressing up in these crazy little outfits I like to wear with 10 pounds of stage makeup on, going, this is fun. This is theater. I like this. But you have to take seriously what you're feeling. Is what this woman's saying, does that make any sense to me at all? I hope it does, because I've had wonderful teachers. And I'm passing on to you what I have learned and what I am told. But you also are told things. And all I want to do is stimulate you to activate those pieces in yourself. Those beautiful golden moments when all of a sudden you get something. That's a gift. That's grace. That's God speaking to you. And it can happen in the deepest, darkest place. There are, of course, stories and books about people who have been in dungeons or in prisons and who transformed themselves. There have been people who are billionaires who transformed themselves. It's not the stuff. It's the stuff that's inside of us. That's what's important. When I know the difference in the moment, It doesn't control me. And I say, God, help me. Help me not to worry about this, because that's the attachment to the physical.
Are there times you find it easier to detach more than other times?
Sure. When I'm in a good mood, I've had a good cup of coffee. Not really, I'm just the people. Of course, because we're all living in the same emotional pot. We have the same emotions. Now, external stimuli, internal stimuli, memories, programming, all these things are the big ball of wax that we form our life with. And it changes second by second. So what do? Not be thrown hither and yon by all the externals or the internal things. We have to develop a personal belief system, a personal pathway to the divine. What speaks to you? What methods do you use during the day to pull yourself in and out? And it's hard. Earth school sucks. This is a hard place. Not supposed to be easy. And when I'm whining, because I've got 6 loads of laundry, our grandson's coming and their skis all thrown out. I complain too. I'm no different than you guys. And I will try to use that to get pity or help or whatever, instead of calming myself and saying, oh, nobody's running me except me. And when you put out your hand and invite divinity to come into that and say, I am my beloved, and all of my power comes from the divine. I am my beloved. When I do that, it calms me immediately.
That's something we need more of. It's such a messy world. It's easy to be stuck in the chaos of things. And it's much harder to be aware of those golden moments of beauty and joy. So if we can try and talk about it and get past the yuckiness, I think we'll all do better.
We have to help each other too. We have to recognize that everybody's having a hard time. Everybody. And to consider, like that great bumper sticker that I saw in Olympia one day, all it said was others. Oh, it's not about me. Darn it. It's not about me. What are the lessons of this day that I can take? What is the daily life in front of me? You and I have spoken, and for me, and I've talked to a gal friend about being present. And she and I are in a school right now about being present. When I am really present in my body, I feel things spread out. It gets fatter and it slows down because I'm not going forwarding and pasting. It's an art. It's an art form. I don't do it all the time. I'm not that great at it, but I try. I can be a drama queen like anybody else. And that's what we have to remember is everybody's having a hard time. We can help each other. And for me, when I can slow down and take a deep breath, when I look around in a store and go, these are my brothers and sisters in spirit, no matter how different we look, act, think, feel, speak, on that deep, precious level, we are all one. And
We are.
we are, and we're learning more about that. I do see more of that. I think part of all the wars and the social unrest is realizing that, and then you don't know how to get to it. You mean I won with that jerk over there? Yeah, you are. And they probably say that about you too. That's what spirit would say to us. And the ones that guard me and guide me, God help them. I hope they have help, because that can be absolutely impossible to deal with, because I'm a people. Life is hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's how we transmute matter. But we forget about that during the day because we're self-centered, we're protective, and we want what we want. It's just human nature, and I hope that changes too.
Well, it has to change because we can't just keep going on and fighting with our brothers and sisters because we're not able to express ourselves or we're having a bad day or life is too hard. We have to get past that so that we can all share the golden threads. Even though it's more exciting to talk about what divides us, when we sit here and are reasonable, we see that we're all connected.
Yes, we get addicted to the drama. We get addicted to things being, it's not exciting enough. And I hope as I've gotten older, I'm less of that. I want calm and I want my structures during the day because I'm that kind of a person. This world has been totally obliterated of people, destroyed twice. And we came very close in 1999 of it being just totally destroyed again. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen because we were spoken for by Maitreya, the masters of wisdom, the Buddha. We were spoken for. It's like finding 10 good men. So now, because Maitreya is not physically, he's physically in the world, but not visibly, we are in a timeline of when we will see him, a teacher, not somebody to pray to, a teacher, a brother, and the masters of wisdom, brothers, teachers. Now, the reason there are no female masters connected to the earth, why is that? Because we're in the time of female energy. Because the material world is all feminine energy. It's the negative polarity, and there's too much of it right now. Do you see that? So, in about 200 years, the master who was married will come in as a female master. But it's going to take us that long. 200 years, who knows? It'll be 180, 250, I don't know. But that is why these are all men. They come in to balance and they bring that electrical connection to the Godhead with the physical.
Are there also cryptid masters or supernatural beings have masters as well?
I don't know. I don't think in that way they do. I don't have any information on that. But from what this dog man says to me, he says, we have ancestors, we have higher ups, and there is a plan for us. And there are some who are just on the earth and they're always on the earth. They don't do the portals, they do nothing. There are some that are assets for the government. But the problem is, and there's no such thing as the government, but you know what I mean, that you really can't control them. These are like Belgian Malinois on steroids. You can't control these creatures, people. And I don't think those guys are as evolved. I don't know. And they do breed on this planet too, but they also breed in their home place. I don't know their life cycle. I don't know anything about that. I just don't. Because I'm given very little information. What I'm giving you, I have gotten from this exquisite being who is all loving. And he says they do have hierarchy, but to be a master of wisdom, you are in earth school, you are ensouled, embodied thousands of times until you evolve past the third degree initiation and the fourth and the fifth. So they have something like that, but it's nothing. I don't think I could understand what you'd even be talking about.
Separate from our human reason for being here?
Absolutely. Absolutely different and separate. The most fascinating thing he's told me, I'll say again, is that there's not going to be a big homecoming where humans and all the cryptids get together and pray, party, whatever. It's not going to happen. What is going to happen is there will be more communication at certain guarded levels because they're not here to serve us. They serve the earth. They're guardians of the forest. And they do take care of a lot of these white things or these slender men or whatever. Who knows where the hell they come from?
When you communicate with something non-human, is there a way to intuit or to tell their intentions?
That's a really hard one. When I get energy from them, it's in my throat and sixth chakra area. It's the heart and above. All channeling comes from the astral realm. It goes into your third chakra. Is it true or not? I don't know. You never really know who it's from. I've done it. It's just a different way. You cannot channel a master and you cannot channel these beings. They are not in the astral realm. You see that? So you have to learn within yourself what are your signatures for that. I can tell when I'm talking to a nature being, a spiritual being, it comes like a visual for me. And I see it playing out. I don't have to think about what's going to happen. It's not like I'm writing a book. I'm not in charge of it. And I have to ask, where is it coming from? Now, there are certain signatures, like on a map, you have guideposts. And for me, I have certain things that I have set in order, beings who guard and guide me so that I can do this work. I don't think I'm any different than anybody else. Everybody's got these skills. I've just worked for 50 years to develop them. You see, there's a difference. I was looking at, what is that wonderful movie, Hidden Figures, about these African American women who were physicists at NASA and what they did. Every African American kid needs to watch that, especially the girls. And there on the board are all these physics equations. And I looked at it and said, you know what? That's a language. I don't speak that language. These other beings, they don't speak, and we don't speak the same language. So you communicate from the heart, from the higher realm, and you ask for help and you ask for truth. So it's a very specific thing. And I don't diss people who channel. There's a lovely, what is this woman's name? It's a lovely lady on YouTube, and she channels people who are deceased in the royal family. Is it really them? I don't know. I don't know, but I can't judge that. Do you think it's interesting? Yes. You're getting something. I don't know what it is. The higher levels of the astral realm, the fifth, sixth, and seventh, there have been magnificent things that have been channeled from that. Course in Miracles. That supposedly came from a disciple of Jesus. Now, which one? I don't know. A student. I don't know. But there's just wonderful. There's messages from Michael. That's amazing information. So you will be drawn to whatever is specific for your energy signature. And the more you evolve yourself into your heart and your ajna center, the more truth you can access because you'll know how it feels.
Do you have suggestions or resources, advice for people just starting out in their training or just starting to look into this type of thing?
Go with your heart. What are you drawn to? What do you feel? Are you somebody who's a religious person? Say you are Catholic or Mormon or Jewish or evangelical Christian or Hindu or Buddhist. There are laws. If you are under that particular way of being, there are rules that you will choose to follow. Are they wrong or right? They're just a school. And if you choose to do that, it will guide you to greater truth. But if those schools tell you that you're evil and wrong and there's something wrong with you, get the hell out there. Now you have to put up with some of that also, because there are people in those schools who were scared and uninvolved who wrote some of the laws, but you just ignore it. Just ignore that and get the good stuff. Now, if you are in the New Age community and you want to try your hand at channeling, ask for help and guidance and ask for a protection prayer and sit with your notebook and see what comes. A lot of the things that I have written before, they're not channeled information, but I think they're images. I don't know what they are. I don't know. So it's also good to find a teacher. And I say, get a natal astrology chart done. You might be surprised at what comes for you and what your skills are. Maybe you're a scientific person and you don't believe in a lot of this. Let's say that your race structure is that you came in this life to learn the physical world. And anything that's the physical world means something to you. You're not wrong. You can have intuition in that also. Don't let somebody say you're not spiritual. That's ridiculous. You can reach God through anything. So that's what my suggestion is, to ask for help, to get in touch with you inside. What are you interested in? What do you feel? I don't know what else to say. I was put through these schools that were very, very difficult. I don't know why, except that I'm very difficult to deal with at times. But I've done this for 50 years and I spent a good 40 years in this schooling system. And I'm not through learning, but this is mine. Find yours. There's divinity in that.
It really is. And learning, as you say, is always going to be ongoing. And the important thing I think people need to know is everyone's spiritual path is going to be different. There's not just one way of doing it.
There's not just one way. And many times, a lot of those ways can cross over, and you can do a lot of those at once. I do a lot of tarot, I do numerology. These are um, psychological tests and psychological ways of interpreting life. I don't pray to those. I was adopted and raised Reformed Jewish. I'm not Jewish, but I was raised that way. Then I had a Pentecostal type experience when I was very young. And I went later on and joined the Catholic Church because Padre Pio gave me an experience. But I think I've always been like that. So I mix all those things together and I don't let a priest or anybody tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. Why? It's me. It has nothing to do with you because you're afraid, because you are afraid. That's usually what it is. You're going to have a hard time if you're in a religion that says all this stuff is evil. Well, those people are usually not, I'm going to just say it, real evolved. They live in a thin slice of life and they will control you and batter you and condemn you. And all you have to say is, oh, thank you. Thank you, God. I'm not like you. And get some help, work through it.
Are there any prayers you say every day?
Oh, yeah. I pray all day. I pray all day. A lot of it is help me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I have specific prayers, and I'll share some of that with you. At night, before I go to sleep, I start with a Pledge of Allegiance because I'm patriotic, and I imagine a beautiful flag because I have been in other countries and was so glad when I saw the U.S. Embassy. I'm not going to get into all that. And then I say, oh, Lord, hear my prayer. I say the prayer, the St. Michael prayer. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. I say that. And then I say the Hail Mary, and I say it in Latin to connect with women all over the world who are saying that. I'm not a Marian Catholic. I don't pray to Mary, but I say that as a community, you see. So I visualize being in space and seeing that, and I hear voices saying that with me. And then I say a certain prayer of, I don't want to tell you specifically what I say, but it's a prayer of protection and invocation. And I pray for, draw energy to those I love and what I care for. And hopefully I'm fall asleep after that. And there are a few prayers that I've made up. One is Hail, Holy Queen, Daughter of Light, Empress of this world, Divine Mother, I invoke thee. The Empress Tarot card is Mary. That is also the Holy Mother of the world. And so most of my prayer has to do with me being in a female body, being magnetic. And I ask to be from Him through me to them. That in the human design, I'm a projector. And so I'm aware of that I have to receive that. It's like a movie projector. The movie plays, it doesn't generate what is being played. So there's a humility in that. And by saying those prayers, I'll often have nightmares. I have stuff I'm working through, but that's very important to me. During the day, I'll say a prayer of protection when I leave the house. Nomine Patris Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Protect us now when we're gone from this place and all within. I'll say that when I'm in town. I'll say the Ho'oponopono prayer if I'm in traffic. I use a lot of things. And as long as you are loving and you are divine, who cares what you're saying? It's nobody's business. Don't let anybody say, oh, you should be saying that. Well, if you're calling in evil shit for other people, yeah, don't do that. Stop. But I hope that's helped. Find out. And there are some prayers from the Union Prayer Book when I was going to Temple Emmanuel in Birmingham that are very precious to me, that are beautiful. Some of the prayers are in Hebrew, and I still remember those. But things for me, and they will for you too, you'll find they cycle. But I think that if you have a specific prayer path of just maybe one prayer you say every day, you will find a grounding in what you believe in. And I don't mean begging God to give you this. It's not a begging, it's an invocation. You invoke that energy and you humble yourself to the result.
It's a really great reminder for people to add in a prayer or to continue their daily prayer. Something that at the same time every day is simple that feels right for them.
Yeah, sometimes in the morning I wake up and go, oh, I'm still here. I don't know. Thanks for getting me through the night. But I'll find that in the morning, and I think this is being a psychic medium, I'm very disoriented when I wake up. I was never like that when I was running the farm and I was on the land all the day. We're up here in these mountains in Montana. It's all rocks. I don't go walking a lot. It's pretty treacherous. So it takes me a while in the morning and I have to watch my thoughts. So when you wake up, watch your thoughts because it may be all negatory because of the dreams of what you're processing. I have to just allow myself time, allow myself a little while to become physical. Try it, see how that works for you.
That's something I've not thought of before. And yeah, it might take people a while to come back to themselves in the morning.
Depends on what kind of person you are. I used to be a morning person. I'd pop right out of bed and do my thing. No. Minute time when I got married, I shifted. My whole energy shifted. I'm more of a night person, but I was told to protect my mornings. And the work that I do, I can do that all morning. I do a lot of my writing, a lot of my research, and a lot of my intuition. And I think that's bringing in things that I have dreamed. I don't know. We also watch the news after 9/11. The first thing my husband does, military guys, he turns on the news, make sure it hadn't happened again. So we get attenuated by things. And that kind of brings me into reality. Like, oh, I'm here. I might as well do something with it.
Yeah, you have to find some way to get through it, and finding ways to make it positive is better than the alternative.
It is. You're right. You have to find ways, and that's called trying. You have to try. You don't have to jump out and do it all right. Maybe just put a little toe in the water. You don't have to do it all at once. Give yourself time. Be patient with yourself and be your own beloved. Be the person that you treat yourself the way you treat a tender child. To give ourselves the dignity and the honor of saying, I've never been this old before, or I've never lived this day before. I'm going to try. I'm going to put out an effort. And when we do that, that's a call to the divinity to help. When we put out that efforting, it is a tender moment of inviting spirit in to be your partner in life and to allow you to be your beloved.
Thank you, Zoli, for always bringing in the gentleness and for keeping us loving ourselves and being kind.
I need to hear that too. Maybe that's why I say it. Thank you, Linda.
Much appreciated. Take care.
God bless.